Hi, Ryan, and welcome to the Cognitive Recalibration podcast. As always, I'm your host, Sravan. We've got Bhaskar here with us today.
Yes, hello. Good to be back on the show.
Yes, I think the last time you joined us was for our Christmas episode.
Christmas episode in December of last year. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Mandalorian Grogu just came out, so we watched it last night. This is opening weekend.
Here we go. Here's some merch.
We've got some
the iconic for the show. We have to have something, right?
Yes,
for Star Wars, so.
Specific to this movie. So we watched it last night in IMAX and in 3D. So we can comment on our experience with that. Just in terms of box office performance, also obviously very early in its release, but in terms of what they're forecasting for the opening weekend, it's looking like about 160 to 170 million worldwide. This is the 4-day weekend because it's a public holiday, Memorial Day, I think, in the US. Yeah. So it's looking like it's going to make about that 160 to 170 million opening weekend, which is decent.
That's decent, but it's quite conservative for what's been a powerhouse. Yeah.
Other context, it's the first theatrically released Star Wars film since Rise of Skywalker.
2019.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 7 years since that.
Wow. Has it really been 7 years since the last Star Wars in theaters? I can't believe that.
Yeah. It feels like Star Wars has been around. So this is directed by Jon Favreau, which we haven't spoken about yet. So one of the main writers is Dave Filoni as well.
Executive producer.
And executive producer. It's also been 7 years since Jon Favreau has had a theatrically released film. His last theatrically released film was The Lion King.
The Lion King. Music also by
Ludwig Göransson.
Ludwig Göransson.
Yeah, who did the score for the show as well.
So score for the show, amazing, iconic score.
Yeah, and so he's back.
Yeah,
with
there's no question he was going to do the score for this one.
He had to, obviously. Like, I mean, if he did the show, he was going to do the.
I say he almost got famous off of the Mandalorian, like by his iconic.
Yeah, I mean, was that his first claim to fame? Like,
was he there before? It depends if he was there before Chris Nolan films. If he was there before Tenet, I believe it was. Mandalorian.
Tenet was the first film that Nolan and Ludwig Göransson collaborated.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
And Tenet came out in 2020, 2021. So he would have been working on Tenet and Mandalorian around the same time.
Yep.
But Mandalorian came out before. Demographics-wise, I find this interesting for all movies, but particularly Star Wars movies. So in the screenings that we've had so far, no surprises here, but majority male audiences.
Wow, really? I wouldn't have thought that. Really, we're not appealing to the other gender.
So that could be a limiting factor in terms of box office as well. It hasn't been for other Star Wars films, but generally for most films, if it's very strongly skewed to a particular demographic, it does mean that it doesn't I guess, transcend to all audiences, and then long run, you will have diminishing returns in terms of box office. But let's see, because I have a theory that this is not like all Star Wars. I think Mandalorian Grogu does differentiate itself a little bit, and probably will pull in a slightly different audience.
Yeah. Going for that blue sky strategy. I'm trying to appeal for as many people as possible. Which
I think so.
Which has it's like a double-edged sword sometimes. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. And we see that in the age breakdown. So Star Wars has always been, I guess, a little bit skewed to younger audiences, but everyone can enjoy it. So it's meant to be for everyone, but also kids can watch it. Whereas I think this one is more like it's for kids and parents can watch it. So what we're seeing actually in terms of the attendance is the strongest performance is among particularly boys under the age of 13. So what we're seeing with this movie is mostly men over 55 and boys under 13. So it's mostly a father-son or grandfather-grandson demographic that's watching this.
I feel like that's what they've aimed for, actually. So a lot of the themes in the movie, a lot of the recurring kind of messages, but also the audiences that I've seen. I went to see it this morning as well. So this like literally coming from the show. So I'd say that's the crowd that I'm seeing, right? A lot of boys, a lot of kids, but also the same demographic that resonated with season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Some critics have labeled it as the most family-driven film in Star Wars history.
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
Which is
Yeah,
probably true.
Film, maybe so. I think some might argue that the original Star Wars itself is like
maybe like Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
might have been a bit more
maybe.
family.
I mean,
but
the fact
still,
that you have a very kind of balanced crowd with like Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker. You have like you have the typical power triad of like the heroine, the hero, and the rogue.
Yeah.
So I feel like some story wise, people could argue the original Star Wars was like the quintessential family movie.
I don't know where they got this stat from, but 60% of ticket buyers were Disney Plus subscribers.
That's interesting. They're doing some analytics there.
Yeah.
Maybe through like email addresses, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't know how they figured that out, but
60%. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
68%. So I guess what they're trying to really, well, the insight coming out of this is that you need to have watched Mandalorian on Disney Plus to watch this movie.
Right. So, and they also think whoever has got a subscription and is buying it, if you have a subscription, you're buying a ticket, they can make the inference that they've seen The Mandalorian.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. That's a cool
Although
stat.
you may not have a subscription now, but you may have had one and watched Mandalorian. But I guess these are active subscribers, so they're probably active Star Wars fans that have Disney Plus.
So the stats of people who may have had a Disney Plus account would be much higher.
Correct. Cast-wise, obviously Pedro Pascal's in this. Mm-hmm. Good question is how much of it is he actually in?
That's a good point. Because we know from the show that it's a team. It's like stunt coordinators and people working under the helmet.
Yeah. Because you don't actually see much of him, like his face.
Right.
You do hear him, but also you didn't have to be there for you to hear his voice. So
correct. I do know the producers do like to have Pedro Pascal inside the suit wearing the mask when it's a very like emotionally important scene. Yeah. And I say emotionally, it's funny because you very rarely see his face. But we had this conversation, I think, in season 2 reviewers. Like, you actually get more expression by like the audience inferring what is going on behind the mask.
Correct.
So there is a lot of, I'm sure Pedro Pascal's gone through specific training for this, but you can see moments where, okay, it's a heavy scene. You're probably guessing it's Pedro behind there. But they're good team of people focusing on his character. I know there's a whole team of people behind Grogu.
Yes.
So
it's funny because in the official cast, Grogu is credited as himself.
Really?
Grogu as himself, via puppetry and animatronics. So
that's interesting. So the team just takes that as like okay, we're doing the character.
Yeah.
But they can't. Maybe I reckon it's because they can't put more than one name next to it.
Yeah. So they're like via puppetry and animatronics.
Right. Because if it was like if it was Frank Oz, Yoda was doing Frank Oz. He was doing the puppetry and the voice.
Yeah.
I wonder who does the voice for Grogu. It's like a mix of babies. Like surely they're gonna have.
Well, he doesn't say much. So Lastly, Jeremy Allen White. New character in this. We can talk about it once we get into the movie. That's mainly the cast, mainly the background. I guess we can get into our thoughts on the film, which is why you're really here.
That's why we've come. That's why everyone else has joined. So we'll definitely get into it.
Yeah. So we can start with your thoughts. Having seen it twice now in the space of 24 hours.
My first, I think the IMAX viewing, the first session that I watched, it was probably the raw reaction was great. I'm now seeing this franchise that I watched on TV in theaters, and then what got me thinking. On the drive here, I was just thinking, like, when we first watched The Mandalorian on TV, the reason why we were so blown away by the first season was because it was so cinematic. It felt like movie quality, visuals, writing, stunt work, VFX, movie level stuff in a TV show. Highlighting the fact that there were no movies since 2019. I think we've gotten to this phase of like, we've forgotten what the Star Wars film is because all the quality, all of the story development happens now on TV. Now watching this movie in theaters, I think it's like a full circle, right? The TV show that's trying to have the same production value as a movie is now itself a film.
Yeah.
So this would have been a bit of a challenge, I guess, for the team. But my impression was, as a self-contained story, it's like very isolated compared to everything else. It's not really connecting to other major story arcs or bridges. In a nutshell, it's like a cute little bounty quest fetch adventure that has maybe multiple complicating factors that create, needs to do like a rescue mission, come out and do more bounties. And there's a nice opportunity to see the characters in their full personalities, right? There's some moments in the TV show where you see, the main character of Mandalorian is Din Djarin, or Mando as he's referred to. So he spends a lot of time by himself. Then you get introduced to Grogu, and then they spend time together. There's times you see Grogu by himself, like snapshots here and there, right? This film explores times where they're both like either alone or they have to survive without each other, or they're trying to help each other or rescue each other. So they explore that. But in terms of quantifying the actual impact of the film, I feel like the story, the events that take place, the way they set it up, the film, and you can tell me if we're doing spoilers right now, or we're doing like a general overview.
We will do spoilers later.
All right, spoilers later.
It is only been a couple of days since it's come out, so
That's true.
We'll give people time to watch it.
That's
but
true. We will talk about it. We will talk about it.
We will have spoilers though, so
yeah.
I'll have a time.
I know there's going to be a contingent of people who are like, I don't care about spoilers, Bhaskar. Just tell me what you think.
Yeah,
I will definitely. But if in case you want to see it in theaters, here's what I would say: you can watch it. You don't have to worry about getting caught up on like previous seasons. If you really want to, you can watch season 3. Where season 3 leaves you, and I think season 3 has been a while, so I can spoil it. It's just like, well, they've completed a whole quest on Mandalore. They're back home, the Grogu and Mando. They're just like peacefully resting. From there, the story picks up, right? So it's like there's a new quest, there's a new mission. So they both go off on a mission. They both go off on a, the movie opens up with a crawl. Not a crawl, but like the same titles that you would see Han Solo started off with, or Rogue One.
Yes.
So it's like a passive text, not like a full Star Wars crawl. So they've established that this is a side movie. It's like a solo movie, not the solo movie, but it is a standalone movie. And as a result, your expectations can be tempered. You know, you don't need to worry too much about, oh, how is this going to impact the lore or what's going on. There are new locations, some that have been mentioned but never visited. Now you get to visit them, and some characters that are referenced in the animations or referenced in the prequels or referenced in the original Star Wars shows. So you get to see all that. The quality of filmmaking is. I'll start off with like, the way they've done the visual storytelling and storyboarding is pretty much spot on. They've done really good work with the like what they wanted to show. They've shown it really well. The design of the characters, design of the the ships, just the spaceships are very interesting, right? When you see like them traveling in between different systems. Music is amazing. The VFX are quite beautiful, and the design of all the characters is great. The biggest weakness of the film, I would say, is the story lacks the gravity that I think people expected of the movie. So when the movie was first announced at, I think, the Star Wars convention 2 years ago. Yeah. It was not last year. It was
either that or D23, I think.
Oh, D23.
Yeah.
When they announced there'll be a movie, I think everyone's thoughts first went to like, oh, this is going to be like, if they're doing a movie, it must mean that there's something really like important and key that they have to tell us, like an important story, right? Or that somehow this is culminating into a series of important events that people have to watch in the theater. Like in the previous, when Star Wars was in theaters previously, it was like, well, The Empire Strikes Back. This is where Vader and the Empire is going to actually hit the rebellion back after what happened in the first event. So we have to watch this, right? And the trailers and the previews and everything, and there was like hints of some big reveal happening. You have to watch it in theaters. Then you have the prequels, and it's like, yeah, you got to watch the backstory. You got to watch the Clone Wars. You got to watch, the Sith and the Jedi and that. Sequels came out, and yeah, maybe you got to watch it for what happens to the new characters. There was something to watch it for. Mandalorian Grogu, there is a story in it's like a container. It's like a nice little lunchbox. You open it, the meal inside is great. But if you don't have it, you don't necessarily lose out on anything, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you want the movie to have some importance, to be able to tell people, you can only see this in the theater, or you can only watch this in the movie.
Yeah.
Right? What it got me thinking of was like for Demon Slayer, the Mugen Train movie, where it's an entire arc of the anime and it takes place as a movie.
Yeah.
Right? It's self-contained. You can watch the previous arcs to know who the characters are and the context of relationships and stuff. But the events of the movie take place in the tightly packed, 2-hour block. You can watch it. There's action. There's this, and when it's finished, it's done, and then it just moves on to the next part of the story. This is similar.
Similar. Yeah, I think that is a good analogy or comparison. I think the only challenge to that, I guess, is that Mugen Train still has a lot of consequence to the overall plot of Demon Slayer.
Yeah, loss.
Whereas this, I'm not convinced that it has any consequence. So, I mean, I'll let you finish your thoughts because I've got my own thoughts as well. But
no, that's a good point. It's like you're right. Mugen Train at least has the consequence of like main characters either die, or the villain dies, or someone dies.
And
right?
they introduce like some pretty important characters that do come back later as well. So
and that impact Infinity Castle, right? And that builds up the whole thing.
Yeah.
So you're right. There's ties and threads, and I think that's what the anime does well in terms of creating threads and closing threads.
Yeah.
In this one, I feel like they didn't close off any threads. They may have opened up one or two threads, but not really important ones, right? And that's the thing. When you make a movie, you want to make it. You can take a risk and make it consequential. You can put some major element or draw some big reference to it to show the viewers that, okay, we care about giving you guys an important story. However, if the target audience, if you're trying to aim for a wider target audience, you don't want to bore them with lore.
Yeah.
And I feel like they learned that lesson from season 3 of Mandalorian. That was lore heavy.
Yeah.
It was like, Mandalore, it was the war, it was the, what happened between the factions and the armies and Clone Wars. And if you didn't watch any of the previous history, you could get quite lost.
Yeah.
So I feel like they went heavy with the lore in season 3.
They kept this one simple.
This one they kept simple. It was like fresh palette, clean slate of like new storytelling.
Yeah.
Empire here and there, that kind of stuff. But most of the stories new.
Yeah.
Characters, like some of the recurring. We have a new main character now, which is great. All in all, I think my thoughts are this is going to be brutal, but it's like, how people say when they have like a meeting at work and they come out and go, oh, this could have been an email.
Yeah.
I feel like this could have been 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This could have been 4 episodes. It's a bit brutal to say it that way, but it didn't need to be a movie. It was a nice theatrical experience, I'll be honest. Being in the theater and watching kids laugh and react to Star Wars again.
Yeah.
Watching iconic Star Wars moments in the theater. It was good. I'm not going to lie. It's like a guilty pleasure. But yeah, I feel like it didn't need to be a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have released it as a mid-season special, which it might be a testament to the quality of the TV making. That they made the TV episodes so good that we're now saying, oh, you could have just released it on Disney Plus. Maybe that's what they were going for, right? So my thoughts are like, if you can't watch this movie on release day, don't stress, right? You can watch it on streaming. You will not miss out on anything. Not even like, I can't even think about spoilers. Like, there's not really any spoilers to go off here, right? In terms of what happens or, Grogu dies. They're not going to kill off Grogu, okay? They're not going to kill off the only thing that's bringing people to this franchise, which is Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
So he's fine. What are your thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, similar thoughts. I thought I did enjoy the first half. Like, overall, I enjoyed it. I think I wouldn't say it wasn't a bad time at the movies. Like, it's not like it was terrible or regretted watching it. I did enjoy the first half. Like, they set up. There is an element of some stakes in the first half. I thought with the adventure that they go on.
Yeah.
But you can clearly see where it shifts from one adventure to another adventure. So there's and it's almost episodic in the sense that, well, this is done and then this new thing happens now. So you can clearly see that happening in the movie. Positives wise, I think some of the action and visuals were good. Like, it was a notch up from the TV show. So you could, especially watching it in IMAX and in 3D, you could tell that they've obviously filmed this for the big screen. But then again, there were other parts of this that just felt like the TV show again. So like, this could have just been part of a TV show rather than in the cinemas. So, and I liked, I think we talked about this in the last episode when we talked about the state of Star Wars, but like, before Disney acquired Star Wars, you wouldn't have anyone describing Star Wars as cute.
No.
Like, it was never cute. It was never meant to be cute.
Maybe the Ewoks?
Yeah, but maybe the Ewoks.
Yeah.
But the aliens in Star Wars were kind of a little bit, disgusting at times, and like they're not cute.
Yeah, that's like those stand out. You'd be like, oh, that's weird. That was the intent.
Yeah. But this movie is, the way I would describe it, is probably cute, especially the parts with Grogu. Like, there's a sequence in the second half where he's by himself and he's doing stuff, and it's like, yeah, it's cute. But like you said, there's no reason for this to be a movie. Because if they're going to do a movie about Mandalorian Grogu, Well, I was expecting that it would be something quite consequential and something really important's happening. That's why these two have to be in a movie to address this big thing that's happening. This is just like a side quest that could have been a couple of episodes in the TV show. So that's what it feels like. It's not like when you're watching it, you don't feel bad about it, but it's at the same time, if you're going to spend the money, go to the cinemas, you want it to be something that's worth that event of going to the cinemas, which is what Star Wars has always been. Star Wars is event. They're the biggest events, cinematic events in history, some of them. So like Phantom Menace coming out, that was huge when it came out.
That was
like,
crazy. Yeah. I remember the marketing was like literally towards, like 80% of it was towards kids. I remember like all the ads, the promotions, the stuff back when they could still use like food and snacks as commercial. Everything, all the chips were Star Wars flavored.
Yeah.
Literally everything was Star Wars branded. It was
massive.
Merchandise, McDonald's. There's still an opportunity for that here. I'm sure Mandalorian Grogu, I'm seeing merchandise out.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not the target audience for the merchandise, but I'm seeing it. I'm sure it's out there.
And Force Awakens was also huge.
Mm-hmm.
So just going back to the fact that this is the first Star Wars movie theatrically released in 7 years.
Yep.
It feels like this should have been bigger than what it is at the moment.
Yeah. Would you say it's the first movie that is also geared towards that kind of Blue Sea audience?
I think so.
Like family audience.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it's not a bad thing, because I think Star Wars can get a little bit too caught up in the lore and become it is a niche audience.
Yeah.
Like it's not made for everyone.
Yeah, no.
So
like have you seen those Instagram reels where like just random women are approached on the street and be like, what's your number one like, pet peeve or red flag or turn off in someone else? And their number one answer all the time is either like Star Wars or
video
gaming.
games. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's how it's kind of associated with it. But I feel like this is an attempt to break out of that.
Yeah.
In the same line as like you're seeing Star Wars fans come out for the sequels or Star Wars fans come out for the TV shows or the video games, right?
Yeah.
So, or Clone Wars for that matter. It's trying to break out of that niche. And I think their focus is to break out, consequences be damned.
Yeah.
Right? So don't worry too much about setting foundational lore. I think that's for the TV series now. The TV series is going to do the lore building.
Yeah, and then the movies are going to be more mainstream. You don't need all this background knowledge. You can just go in and have a good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's okay, but like it's not something you can recommend. You have to go and watch this right now. Like it's not that kind of movie.
Yeah.
And you don't have to really watch it on the big screen either. Having watched it in IMAX and 3D, sure, it adds something, but like if your underlying story, plot, pacing, if all of that doesn't add up, it doesn't matter how good your visuals are. Like you have to have a compelling story sitting there. That's the foundation and the basic thing, right? Which is probably just not really here. And I think the other thing is, and I think we talked about this in season 3 Mandalorian as well, where you just felt like the stakes weren't there. Like you always felt like these two are going to be fine. Like nothing's really going to happen to them.
Yeah.
Even at the point in this movie where one of the characters does get pretty injured, but you kind of know that he's probably going to be okay.
Yeah. If they had gone another direction, I'd be like, that is amazingly brave to do. That would have given it some like real stakes. Like if there was a permanent change in the lineup, or if someone was like going to actually lose their life, I would have been like, how are they going to make this feel good for everyone, right? That'd be the challenge.
Yeah.
So I kind of went into it knowing like they're not going to make decisions that would change the fabric of the dynamic of the duo, of the character. But I was hoping that maybe there's something that could introduce a element of like, wow, you have to watch this to understand all the things that happened in the past. Like there's a moment where something happens with Grogu, and I was thinking this would be a great time to do some more of those flashback sequences with him, because he's had some in the TV series where he's had flashback sequences. He's had a vision of like his traumatic experiences of Order 66. So that's what I would have like wanted to see more of.
Yeah.
And but I agree with you. I think like you're right. If people come out of it saying it's inconsequential, I don't disagree. I think there is definitely there's no urgency, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I can't remember a film where there was that level of urgency. I'm trying to think of a time where like I felt you have to watch this film.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing.
Well, Marvel had that for a little while where like you had to watch it because you might get spoiled.
Yeah.
And everyone was so invested in the plot that they had to go and watch it.
Yeah. I can't remember a film in recent times that's actually made me feel like that. That's the sad thing.
Yeah,
just,
there's nothing.
Could be this, like for even like Top Gun Maverick, I would tell people we watch it in theaters. That's a theater experience.
Yeah.
Right?
But like plot wise, what's there to spoil in that movie? Like you could tell a person the whole story of that movie, and it won't change their experience of that film.
Correct.
Because that film is all about being immersed in that environment.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I just don't think we've had movies where the plot is so important and people are so invested in it that they have to know what happens. We haven't had anything like that in a very long time.
Yeah, they're aiming for a much more wider appeal. If you want to appeal wide, you can't do a narrow story. You got to do a wide story. So
I think that the strategy is probably the right thing.
I think it's the right strategy.
Yeah, I think the execution for this movie was probably not right.
Yeah.
Just because you're going for a wide audience doesn't mean that your film is inconsequential. Like I think it still needs to have stakes and still needs to be within itself. Speak for itself within itself. So
because all the fans that are watching it watched The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian 1 was written with the premise of this has to have stakes.
Yeah.
And they introduced Grogu as the stake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, all the fans that came to the franchise watched it because the executive producers, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, had an idea. And they were like, we're going to go with this idea, and it's going to be gritty, but it's going to be have stakes. It's going to have a certain gravity to it. People came towards it, kids, adults. I think Mandalorian Season 1 was so successful that it actually changed the outlook of a lot of what they were going to do with Star Wars. I even go to say Ahsoka and the other animated TV series like Bad Batch as well. They had that planned to come out, but I don't think it fully got realized until Mandalorian's success on the platform. That built Disney Plus as a platform because people were like saying, we have to watch it.
Yeah. Mandalorian was the flagship TV. It was the flagship show on Disney Plus. Probably still is, to be honest.
It's the Stranger Things for Netflix.
Yeah.
Right? It's the Stranger Things, as Stranger Things was to Netflix, it is to Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, yeah.
So it built the franchise. So now people are like, well, we stuck with the franchise. What do we get?
Yeah.
Right? And if you're given something that's like a generically appealing, which has really nice little crumbs and little dough bits and choc chip pieces of, fan service and stuff.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It's still a good meal. I enjoyed the films. I think though I built up the expectation too much. Right? Because when it was first announced, I was like, oh wow, they're gonna combine this story. They're gonna have Boba Fett come in, they're gonna do this stuff, they're gonna have Ahsoka. Maybe they'll wind up with Thrawn there because it's all the same timeline. They could have done that. And the first spoiler I'll say is most of those things didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're at the point where we can probably jump into spoilers, but you don't need to rush out to watch this, but it's not a terrible film either. I think critically it's reflecting, I think it's about 60% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Audience might be a bit higher than that, but it's just kind of there. Is how I'll describe it. It exists.
Yeah, it exists. That's a similar sentiment to what Jeremy Johns said. Yeah. It's a movie in 2026.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I would say it's not bad. It's a fun time, but it's not something that you need to stress out about. Just go watch it. If you have like, nieces or nephews or kids or sons and daughters, take your kids to watch it. Kids will love it, right? It's actually there are some, if you're watching it with kids, there are some like, scary moments. So like with
there's a little
creatures
bit of
and monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of lighthearted moments as well. There's moments where like when you're in a theater full of kids and you hear the kids laughing, it kind of just lessens the weight of your soul a little bit. You're just like, okay, this is like light. People are enjoying it.
Do we have to think of these Star Wars movies now like Disney animated movies or like basically movies that are meant to be for kids?
Yeah. How do you know what this is? This is a crisis in us realizing we're not the target audience anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And we're sitting it's like when we went to Nintendo World in Universal. We just got there. We wanted to see this place for like ever. We were like hyping it up. And when we finally got into Nintendo World, we looked around and we just saw there was like so many kids with bracelets and stuff and having fun. And we were trying to have fun, but I realized we're a little out of place.
Yeah.
We're a little out of place.
Yeah.
We were expecting to have a little bit more joy, but I think we just realized, yeah, we're grown up. By the time we accumulated the resources to come to this place,
Yeah.
it was too late.
We're too late.
We were 20 years too late. We should have
Yeah.
been like 10 years old coming to this.
Yeah.
But I will say this: if you are a fan of the franchise, if you like The Mandalorian and Grogu, if you like the post original trilogy timeline, this is definitely a good piece to put on your shelf, like as a story experience or something that I've watched. Catch it in theaters if you can. I'm not saying that to like boost up the numbers, but if you're waiting for a good Star Wars release, this is a good film for the kids. It's a good film for the family.
Yeah.
It's got really good action as well. Actually, the action scenes that are involved are surprisingly well done because there's a lot of CGI characters jumping into the action. There's plenty of gladiator fights in this one. It's like actual one-on-one combat. Where it's quite the circumstances when they get involved are pretty interesting. I think the main complaint we just have is how it impacts the general timeline.
Yeah.
Or how it impacts the general vibe of the story, which I guess now we just have to take it as a bite-sized approach. What we're eating is this meal. Enjoy the meal.
Yeah.
Don't worry about how it connects to your drink or what you had in the morning or what's planned for tomorrow.
What's
this
for dessert?
meal is this meal, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you analyze it that way, then you can actually dive into the movie and think about, well, how did they execute that meal?
Yeah.
How did they execute the actual experience? And I think that execution, that was done well.
Reasonably well. Yeah, reasonably well.
In isolation of everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, we can use this as a starting point to jump into spoilers, but this plays it pretty safe. So I don't think it's going to offend Star Wars fans. Like the way that Last Jedi offended Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
So like Last Jedi was a big swing.
Yeah.
They tried different things and obviously fans didn't like it. Yeah. This one, it's not a big swing. They've taken it very safe. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't think they break anything.
Yeah, no, it still follows the basic tenets of storytelling of like you set up a quest or you set up a line of inquiry or a thread to chase, and the characters follow that thread. Complications arise, but there's no the subverted expectations.
No, it doesn't break any law. It's like it does what it can within its confines.
It still rewards the viewer to say you stuck with us this whole time, right? You saw our characters investigate the threads and ask questions and find out what to do, where to go, who to find, and you're going to see all the people everyone they're looking for, they're going to find. Everyone that they trying to hunt down, they seek. Yeah. Right? Everyone they want to rescue, they end up rescuing. Right? The Last Jedi had no respect for the viewer.
Yeah.
Right?
Or the characters.
Or the characters. As in, let's put the character lore aside, right? About what people would do. The way the filmmaking was done intentionally was to be like, we're going to get the viewers to believe that every character is going to be on their own quest. Yeah. And we're intentionally going to not reward this plot line at all. Every plot line.
Because people expect that.
Because people expect it. And the reason why they did it was be like, I just want to flip off the viewer with my middle finger. I don't want to give them what they want. Even if it's like a reasonable expectation of like, these guys are following a lead to find a technology to track hyperspace points, right? You'd think at the end of that quest, they'd find the solution to that. No, they don't. They actually fail. They don't do it. And the lesson there is, you don't succeed sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what happened with every line of that movie. That's why the movie was so, what do you call, controversial, you could say?
Polarizing. Yeah.
Polarizing.
Yeah.
Whenever I get into Last Jedi, I literally have to go into my like dark place and come out of it and be like, all right, no, you're okay. You're safe. It can't hurt you anymore. You're fine.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years. I don't know how long it's been.
2017, right?
2017. Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah, it's still traumatizing me.
Yeah.
It's still traumatizing.
So this movie will not take you to a dark place. We can guarantee that.
If anything, no. At the contrary,
it'll take you to a happy place.
It would actually it'll take you to a nice place. There's actually a scene in this movie where it's actually a beautiful, like, atmospheric place that you just see one of the characters thriving in, right? And the world building is really good in this, in the sense that it doesn't complicate you with too many, maybe 2 or 3 worlds, right? You get familiar with them, you get put in them, and you revisit them. That's it, right? So it's nice. In that way, it's good. Story-wise, it sets something up in its own little universe, and it explores the bounds of that.
Yeah.
Right? Which is quite neat. It does that well. What would you say in terms of the actual like production value they put into this?
Like I said earlier, I think that there are definitely parts. So the opening sequence, you could tell that they've obviously put some money into this. Like you could tell it was high budget, looked really good on the screen in IMAX as well. But then there were other parts that looked similar to the show. So like it was varied. So that $165 million budget, I mean, we've seen other movies that cost us about as that much that look probably better than this one. But there are parts of this movie that look good as well.
I could tell they use the volume a lot in this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what do you call nighttime or indoor locations.
Yeah.
Where you could have set that up in the volume. There's very few outdoor locations, like the sand beach.
I'm pretty sure it's all. Yeah, it felt like it was all volume based.
In fact, you see a lot of that in the trailer. In the trailer, there's like the beachy area where they're being chased, and then there's another area. It's like you see the swampy area as well in the trailer. So it's like there's some places that are very believable. Other places need a lot more set design, or they're obviously done in the volume. I found that they did a good job to replicate the feeling, but the TV series had much more time to develop. Like, okay, we're going into the wilds of Tatooine or the outback, or we're doing this, we're doing that. So there's much more variety. Here you have maximum 2 or 3 locations, maybe 4 locations.
Yeah, there's 4 sort of main locations.
4 main locations: the opening location, the home base, and then obviously the main places. 2 of the main places, which we'll get into. That in that way they paced the pacing. It was unbelievably well done. Like it was fast.
It was until a point where it gets low.
It gets low.
So I guess we can talk spoilers now.
All right, spoiler. Here we go.
So so if you haven't seen the movie,
Grogu dies.
Go.
Grogu dies. He gets eaten. No.
So like
he does get eaten.
he almost does, but he doesn't.
He almost dies, but he doesn't.
So I thought it was pretty well paced, and I was actually quite invested in the story with is it Rodda the Hutt?
Rodda the Hutt, yes.
Jabba the Hutt's son. So he is one of the main characters in this, voiced by Jeremy Allen White. I was actually pretty invested in that story, and then there's the gladiator scenes with him, where you kind of see how they've set it up, where Mandalorian, Din Djarin and him will have to team up and do this fight. So I thought all of that stuff was good. It's after they finish that, so they kind of capture him. They go to this other planet, capture this other dude who they're actually looking for. So they kind of complete all of that by the middle of the movie. And that felt like, okay, well, that was the story.
That was the main quest line. Yeah.
And then it cuts, and then this other story starts. It's linked. It is linked to that, but it's kind of another story that starts. And I think it does slow down at a point after that. So it slows down when they're in the forest. And I guess it should slow down given what's happened to Din Djarin. So he's poisoned, and then Grogu has to take care of him. And I don't know how long it feels like they're in there for like a week at least, right?
A couple of days, maybe like 4 or 5 days. I felt like,
So they're there for a little while. So it does slow down a bit there. And you do see Grogu's kind of thinking and acting independently.
Right. This is the scene I was talking about where he's by himself essentially now.
Yeah. So he's kind of roaming around the forest. He makes him like this little cave thing to put him in, and he doesn't make it big enough, which was pretty funny.
That was a funny comedic point. Yeah. They explored a lot more of his personality. In this one, which
I did like the part at the start where the very first sequence where there's a whole bunch of bombs that have been planted
on the AT-ATs where they're walking down the snow valley.
And I think they're in one of them, and I think he just tapping on Din Djarin's helmet is like,
are they going to blow? They're going to blow.
It's like, we got to go.
That was right. That was the first. That's like the first 5 minutes of the movie. The first 5 minutes are very action packed. It's just straight into a scene where they're trying to extract an Imperial guy.
Yeah. So I thought that sequence was all
that was really cool. That I felt that tapping was running me off in the very original films. Frank Oz as Yoda when Luke first meets Yoda in Empire. And like R2-D2 and Yoda having a fight over the little food stick. And like Yoda's like putting it back, and he grabs the stick and he's like banging R2-D2. I felt like they're trying to reference that same like kind of like his arm is just kind of flailing at the point. He doesn't have like any sort of dexterity. He's just like flailing around. And I felt like that was a good call. It got into it pretty quick, and then it went from that extraction, or they didn't extract, they killed the Imperial dude. He comes back to the
and then he gets a new mission. Where like, so Sigourney Weaver's character literally has a deck of cards with like Imperials that they need to hunt down.
Yeah, I found that a bit weird. Did you find that weird? Where they had
I found
cards?
that weird because the cards were empty anyway. So like, what's the point of these cards?
Yeah. Well, the first one had a picture of his face on it.
Yeah, so that they knew who that guy was. But
she gave another card. It's like, we don't know what he looks like, but this is a big Imperial headshot.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on. The whole Mandalorian season 1, 2, 3, we've established that there are pucks, right?
Yeah.
Bounty pucks with chain codes. That basically, here's a bounty. You hologram of the person. This is what the person looks like, and there's their chain code. You can make sure that you have the bounty. No one else is chasing him.
Why is this such an analog method in such a digital world where you've got these pucks?
Is the rebellion trying to specifically go like off the grid with this? Like, it felt like they were basically trading cards.
Yeah.
Like,
she just gives him a card with nothing on it, so like nothing to go on anyway.
I'll trade you a bell sprout for your Charmander or something. I'm just like, let me go catch one first. I'm just like, like,
and then you kind of see the deck of cards. So there's other things.
There's at least 20 other.
Yeah, there's other people in there,
which just tells you there's a lot of Imperials out there, a lot of imps. So that's their nickname, Imperials. So I'm not talking about
short
monkeys.
for Imperials.
Short for imps. They actually, Mando says it. It's like, when he's getting on the ship, it's like, there's a lot of imps. So there's a lot of people out there they're trying to get, and that's the premise that's the opening crawl of the film. It says that the Imperials leftover Imperials are still there, plotting something. They kind of hint at something more, like they're doing something, or we need to find out what's happening. Mando and Grogu are chasing them down, right? So we get the hint that maybe we're going to find out what the Imperials are doing, or what are they trying to do. They've been wiped out, essentially, right? They're just stragglers.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of like post-World War II, when the remaining members of the Nazi regime were either running away or trying to scatter off into other areas. So they were trying to be rounded up. Similar kind of vibes.
Yeah.
So there's no real threat of the Empire so much, even though we know
more they're just trying to track down these people to completely eradicate any Imperials. But like, so based on that mission that he gets, it's actually linked to the Hutts. So he has to go to the Hutts because they have some information on who this guy might be. But in order for them to give them
Lieutenant
this information...
Coin. Yeah, they're after this guy called Lieutenant Coin. That's the big head honcho Imperial card. So he's like, all right, where do I go? Well, the Hutt twins...
They have information, but
they have information.
You have to do them a favor for them to give you the information. So it's kind of like a side quest for the quest.
Yes, and at this point, you know what this felt like? At this point, I realized this would make an amazing video game, right? Because this is exactly what happens in like The Witcher, or even like Jedi Survivor or Fallen Order, where they're starting to build these quests in the way where you sign up for a quest, you go it, and then you go to the person, and they're like, all right, I'll give you what you need, but first you got to do something for me, and then you go on another quest. So it's not even a side. It's like it's a tiered quest line.
Yeah.
So you start off with the main tier, then you go into the sub tiers, and you got to do all the sub tiers to get to the main tier.
Before you get to the main, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's like you're doing all this stuff, and the Hutt twins, who you get a glimpse of in Book of Boba Fett, they appear towards the end. They're the ones who run the criminals, the Pike Syndicate. But you know that the twins are very, very high up on the chain of order, so they're running everything.
So Jabba's dead?
Jabba's dead in Return of the Jedi, so he died. And these twins are his siblings. Yeah.
So they're the aunt and uncle of Rodda.
Rodda the Hutt is Jabba's baby. Well, we only see him once before this.
Now, I don't know if this was meant to be funny, but they're like, we do have a picture of him, but it's when he's very young and it's like this baby Hutt. Like, what are you gonna get?
When Mando finally goes to Nal Hutta, which is the Hutt home planet, and he finally talks to these Hutts. By the way, the whole scene of him like landing, them having like a whole bunch of anti-air turrets and weaponry and droids, and he's like literally walking through waves of enemies. I could just tell he's gonna have to fight his way through this at one point. And they basically say, get us back our nephew, and we'll tell you what you need to know.
Yeah, and they tell him what planet he's on, and he goes there, and so he kind of just like goes in there, talks to them, walks out, goes to this other planet, talks to
moon of Shikari.
And then he talks to who I now just found out through my research was a character voiced by Martin Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese. Yeah. I think his name was like...
We saw his name come up. I'm like, who's Martin Scorsese in this movie? Because,
you wouldn't think. But he did really well. He's the character... let me get his name up real quick. He's like he's like that little monkey character with multiple arms, and he's just a random street vendor, but Shikari is like this city town, like dystopian Blade Runner style. Like New York at night type of story. Type of location, sorry. And this guy's character he's got a very normal name. This dude. Hugo Durant is apparently the name of this vendor. There's this street vendor. He's just serving some sandwiches, right?
Yeah.
He's like a deli dude.
Yeah.
He's got his own little like bodega. So Mando goes up to him, puts a gold coin, and he's like, "Yeah, can you tell me about Rotta the Hutt?" And the guy's like, "Okay, that's it. Take your sandwich. I don't want your money. Goodbye." I don't know. Who the fuck? Who's this guy talking about?
Well, he says, "Can you tell me about the Huts?"
Oh, sorry, the
Can
Huts.
you tell me about the Huts?
The
yeah,
Huts. He doesn't say Rodda.
And then he says,
you're right.
But then he says Rodda, and then apparently everyone knows who Rodda is.
Then he's like, Rodda. Yeah, everyone knows Rodda.
Yeah.
He's fighting in the gladiator match, and you literally see a poster of like a hut.
So at that point, I'm like, you know what? You didn't have to spend all this money because you probably could have found out who this guy was just looking at posters. And, it's obviously, he's a Hutt.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rare to see a Hutt just walking around, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Which I found interesting. Is like Mando is not the kind of intellectual spy character that will basically do information seeking. He's just the kind of guy who's like, I know how to get information. I just go to some random, pay some money, he'll tell me what I need to know. He doesn't go around like I would, where like, oh, let me just search up the directory, download the manuals.
Not a detective,
and read the news for half an hour to see what's going on. Like, no, he's just straightforward. He talks to someone, and he got what he wanted in the end. That image you see of Rotta the Hutt, I think that was mainly for the viewers because that's the last time you see Rotta the Hutt in Clone Wars. So in the Clone Wars movie, I think the main beeline of that is that, well, they're trying to rescue Jabba the Hutt's baby son who was kidnapped.
Which is
Rodda the Hutt.
Yeah,
and you only see him as an infant in that movie.
Okay.
He doesn't have any much of a dialogue. He doesn't speak. He's just doing baby noises. He's basically Grogu back then in that time.
Yeah.
But now you see him as a very like buff, fit, chiseled
Some
six-pack and
people
abs.
refer to him as Dwayne the Hutt Johnson.
Dwayne the Hutt Johnson. Right. Or the Rot or the Rock, that could be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's definitely he's a really cool like the way they've taken his character in that way. Every time you see a Hutt is like sluggish, maniacal, treacherous, literally like, gluttony and sloth in one character. But this guy's, he's a full warrior. He's fighting. He's very like, macho. He literally just like a WWE wrestler.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And you see him both in the theater, like both in the stadium, watching Grogu's eating every scene.
He's always got some snacks.
He's always eating something. He's like insects or snacks. And I just feel like, you know what? He's just a kid. Probably we were like hungry. That as well at one point.
Yeah.
He's just hungry, man.
Yeah.
He's always eating. He's eating popcorn in that scene as well. It's just coloured popcorn.
Some kind of red coloured popcorn.
Yeah. So they finally talk to Rodda.
They talk to him, and then I think that through a sequence of events, they find out that what's the guy's name? Coin, is it?
Coin. As in, well, they when they talk to Rodda, they ask him, well, who's keeping you imprisoned? Why are you fighting in these fights? And then he's like, I'm Lord Janus, right? Or was like, that's his name, Janus or Janus, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, Lord Janus is the one who owns me, and he's the boss of the criminal syndicate, but he pays for me, and this is my last fight that I'm going to do tomorrow. So after that, I'm going to be free. Yeah. So,
but turns out that was all a lie, and that was going to be his last fight because he was essentially just going to keep sending creatures out until he died.
Rodda's basically saying, yeah, you got to speak to Lord Janu. Janu, that's right. Lord Janu.
Who ends up also being this Imperial guy?
He is Lieutenant Coin. He's Janu Coin. So he's the guy that the twins were going to reveal to the Mandalorian after he completed their request.
Yes.
But they held back the information that the guy who kidnapped or is using Rodda is the guy that Mandalorian's after. So you know that, okay, the Hutts are treacherous. They basically just withheld the information.
And the other thing that they also didn't tell him, and what Rodda tells him afterwards, is that they actually want to get rid of Rodda so that they...
They don't want him back. They want to kill him.
Yeah.
So what I only heard, second time watching it around, I realized, well, Mandalorian says this, the Hutts wanted to tip off the rebellion so that the rebellion pays the Hutts.
Yeah.
Right? In some way. Like they would have given some information to get that tip. But at the same time, they wanted to get the Janu to basically kill off their nephew. So they wanted to basically profit both ways.
Yeah.
Which is essentially what the Hutts do. They betray, backstep. So the moment Mandalorian finds out, Mandalorian goes, he doesn't know this at this point, he goes to see Lord Janu, and he's like this nightclub, the Salt Bar,
Yes.
Where we go and see
salt.
The salt. He goes to see, like, apparently salt's very valuable there, right? Because it's like rationed. So this dude is like a rich bar club owner is basically just telling Mandalorian, no, here's a rock of salt like this big. Take it. It's like it's a small fortune. We think it's like a diamond or something.
And he wants him to fight.
And he wants him to fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he really wants him to fight. It's like,
Yeah.
consider getting into the match. He mentioned that 3 times. He's like,
Yeah.
you know what would be really good? You should fight in my gladiator pits. And then Mandalorian just ignores it.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to know, like, take money. Can I buy his contract? Can I buy Rodda's contract? Can I just get him out? You know, because I need to take him back to his family.
Yeah.
And then Janu's like, no, like, you know, he needs to fight this last fight. I've been preparing him for a long time. You know, it'd be a really good thing if you fought in the gladiator matches.
Yeah.
He just mentions it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he
like,
just really
subtly.
wants him to do it. He also tells him, which is a question, like, why would he need to tell him this piece of information that this will be Rodda's last fight? Like, why does he need to tell?
That's interesting. And he even says only a few people know this.
Yeah,
right?
so why would he tell him, of all people?
Because I think he knew that he was going to go and try and break him out.
Yeah,
because he wanted him to fight, just so people will pay more money to watch him fight.
Yeah.
And I think he knew, if I tell him that this is his last match ever, he's going to die, he's going to try and break him out. Then obviously what they did is they released the gas and trapped him. But he gives him a little rock of salt before he goes, like as a payment.
As a payment.
Which tells me like maybe that's like a goodwill thing to kind of lower his guard. Like, oh, just forget about me. I'm going to pay you off.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I was saying, the salt block you have here, this is probably worth, I don't know, an entire city.
Yes.
So you got a big fortune sitting right here in the middle of the table there. So that's a whole that's the payment in Shikari, right? So that's what's going to work.
After they capture Rodda, he tells them that this guy is actually. He tells them that this guy's the Imperial dude, right?
Yeah. Once he asked Mando, like, why can't you let me go? And he's like, no, I got to take it to your family. And I need this because I got to find this coin, dude. And Rodda's like, oh, that's the dude that's been hiring me the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? It's this dude. His full name is this coin and Janu coin. So he's like, why would the Hutts not tell me? And he's like, the Hutts are treacherous crime lords, right?
Yeah.
And they want Rodda the Hutt dead because he's a challenge to the throne. Now it makes sense. Okay. So they go and find this Lord dude. They find his estate in the edge of the planet of Shikari, and yet there are Imperials all over the place. So they raid it. They get that raid. They basically Zeb also helps out with this raid. He goes in and actually does a frontal assault.
Yeah.
So he finds them. All the Imperial fights in this are like basically standard. Like, you know, the Imperials are bubbling. They don't really put up much of a fight. There's no threatening Imperial force. They're all like leftovers from whoever survived the second Death Star explosion, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can tell
I
they're
did
all
find
like...
that part funny where they're like, I think Rodda's the one, like, he's like, you need backup to actually go into this place. There's a lot of stormtroopers. Yeah. And then next scene, 2 guys just go in and take them right out.
Yeah. Actually, I find when I watched this morning, Zeb's reaction was funny to that one. Like, Rodda's like, you need backup if you're going to storm that place. Yeah. Zeb's like,
okay, so that's what maybe I missed that because maybe they were like, oh, I think you're underestimating what we can actually do.
Yeah,
I think that was maybe the point of that, but it just sounded like, oh, the way that scene played out, I was like, oh, that was a lot easier than what it sounded. It was like it was
we
don't
to be. See what I'm guessing. Mando just flew up with the jetpack and somehow got through a manhole and just made it right past the guards.
Yeah,
and Zeb just went through the front door, clearing a pathway.
Yeah,
Zeb is like that in Rebels as well. He's always like, yeah, I'll clear a pathway, and he just throws a bomb like right in the middle of a crowd or something. And he's like, what are you doing? It's like, you told me to clear a pathway. So he's like that. It's cool that they're all in a gang now.
Yeah,
and then they make it out.
So they extract that dude out. They escape from that planet. Then they go back to Sigourney Weaver's character, and they're like, "Yeah, we've completed the mission. Forget about the Hutts. We've done what you actually wanted us to do." And I think initially she's like, "Well, this wasn't the mission, and we're forming a relationship with the Hutts, and it's going to hurt it."
Time out. Why are you forming a relationship with the Hutts? Like the same people that like ran a slavery campaign across all of the Outer Rim, own all of the crime syndicates.
Yeah.
You're developing an intelligence operation with the Hutts. Like, don't you think there should be a little bit of like, oh, we need someone on the inside, like verification stuff? No, you're going to trust them implicitly?
Yeah.
That made no sense to me. It's just like, you know they're going to betray you, right? And they do.
And they do, yeah.
But she doesn't yet fully know that they've betrayed them.
Yes.
Mando's just right now is like, okay, well, I'm not going to hand Rodda back to the Hutts.
Yeah.
So you see a nice little scene with Rodda and Grogu playing, and Mando's like, all right, maybe this guy deserves to be free.
Yeah, maybe he's
Do what
not
he
as
wants to
bad
do.
as the other Hutts.
Yeah. So they're like, all right, well, you just see them leave,
Yeah.
and you see the ship come back to Navarro, which is the homestead location where Mando and Grogu have been living this whole time.
Yes.
After season 3 and even between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
So they go back to Mando's house where you see the Naboo Starfighter ship alongside his newly restored Razor Crest, which I don't know if we mentioned, that was the payment that the Colonel gave Mando for the first mission. And
was it always yellow?
No, the yellow painting. So the first Razor Crest got completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And this one was apparently another one they found that was being owned by some Imperial wealthy Star Lord that had a whole collection of retro vehicles. So this is just by chance a lucky find of another one. I think the paint job is custom.
Yeah.
There is a paint job similar to this on Jedi Survivor in the video game where you can choose it. I think it's called Rebel or something.
Okay.
So the Rebellion painted it according to its own colors, I'm guessing. But so he's got 2 ships. They're at home. This is where you could see the first half of the story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Comes
so
to
this
a nice
is where
close.
I felt like, well, that's the end of that story.
Yeah.
And if this was episodic in a season, then you'd be like, okay, then you're moving on to the second half of the season where it's a separate arc.
Right. Or at least you cut the episode there and be like, that's the cliffhanger where it kind of. Oh, they actually wrap it up there, actually. So Rodda's there. They came with them to Navarro, and Mando's like, I'm not going to give you back to the Hutts. I've organized a gunslinger ship. You can take that and go wherever you want. So they just see him get on the ship and leave. But then there's the viewpoint of another scope looking at that ship. And it's another bounty hunter who's on Navarro.
Yes.
Right? This is Embo, who's the Liu Kang style bounty hunter who's got that big metal head.
Yeah.
He's like a species, I think he's like Kyrian or something, but he's got a dog and he's basically tracking this on behalf of the Hutts.
Yeah.
So this is where it begins, where you find out they're not safe. Someone's after Mando.
Yes.
Literally, nighttime, raining, this bounty hunter comes, assaults the homestead, and traps, basically springs a trap and baits Mandalorian out, captures him, electrocutes him, destabilizes him.
Yeah.
And he gets a hologram projector, and the twins are like, did you get the Mandalorian? Yeah. All right. And then he takes him on his ship and goes.
Yeah.
Grogu's not there. Grogu's
sort of escaped, but he sees what has happened.
And we didn't mention, he's there with Babu Frick and his other little mechanic teammates, like 4 of the other species, same species.
So these guys, are they in the sequel?
Yeah, Babu Frick is in Return of the Skywalker.
I thought so.
He's the guy inside the ship and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we see his species for the first time in the sequels.
Yeah.
But this is before the sequels, so this is technically the first chronological time you're seeing them.
Yeah, when you see them.
Yeah. Actually, you see them in Mandalorian Season 3. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So Season 3 is there. So I'll be honest, this ragtag team of like these guys plus Grogu is probably the most lighthearted moment of the film.
Yeah.
Where they're just trying to like track down the Mandalorian as a team, right? They're just trying to get together. And, these guys, the baby can't speak. So these guys occasionally are like, don't be scared, baby. We'll be back. We'll find Mando, big guy here. Like, they're just very, very simple one-syllable terms to convey
they don't talk a lot either. So it's kind of like, the way they communicate is pretty funny.
It's cute.
When they go back to the planet, and because one of them gets taken as well.
One of those little dudes gets taken by the dog. So they go to Nal Hutta. These guys go in their own ship and follow to Nal Hutta.
Yeah.
And their ship is hilarious. It's tiny. It's like the size of a table, right? Like a coffee table or something. And they all fit. Grogu's actually hitting the roof.
Grogu looks big in it. So
Grogu's hitting the roof.
Yeah.
I find that hilarious. I understand story-wise why they did this, because we mentioned before Nal Hutta has all these armaments and very, very strong defense. They can't pick up a tiny little matchbox cruiser.
Yeah.
This thing has hyperdrive. It's a tiny, it's like as big as a coffee table. It has a hyperdrive and they're going through hyperspace in like a tiny little matchbox.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's hilarious. It's genius. But they finally make it through and they get to the Hutt's hideout.
Yeah.
They sneak in, they reunite with their comrade. They all go. And this is where, like, okay, the Mandalorian's been taken as prisoner now into the depths, right back to the twins.
Yeah.
And basically they take his helmet off and say, this is where you see Pedro Pascal.
Yes.
Right? This is where the billing credits
could be the only scene that is actually in the movie. But...
Yeah, no, they had to bill him, so I'm sure there was a moment where it's like, okay, I'm glad they showed his face, to be honest, because it's like, would have been really bland.
Also, he probably filmed that in like a room like this.
That felt like a volume thing as well. They could have just done the ground and everything.
So like it was probably like a day worth of work for him.
Yeah, but the twins are like, we know the Mandalorian creed. We know that you're shamed now, that you can't go back to your creed because you've shown your face.
Yeah.
But Mando, this is a really cool cold line. He's just like, unless you die.
Yeah.
And like the droids aren't alive. The only people that are alive in this room is the 2 Hutts. And, it's like, if you die, that's it. Right? Nothing happened. It's all fine. But I was thinking, he has to go back to the living waters and bathe again and do that shit. If he does it, I was just like, he's got to do all that jazz.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm not doing that. I'd rather kill you.
Yeah.
So
he's done it once. So yeah.
Long story short, he gets dumped into the bottom. He fights a whole host of water
creatures.
There's
like this massive serpent thing.
Water dragon or snake dragon, I think they called it. And he gets bitten by it, but he has a massive tussle. He finally, Grogu and the team just so happen to find the gutter entrance into this big underneath the throne room.
Yeah.
Grogu puts a bomb on the exit floor, flushes him out. They all get washed out and they run for it, right? But Mando's been bitten by this snake dragon.
Slowly poisoned.
And the twins basically say, you've been stung by the poison now. You don't have much time left, even if you do escape.
Yeah.
So what you see is they all run back to the ship. It's too small for Mando to take. So this is where it gets kind of serious, where Mando's just like, kid, like telling Grogu, go with them.
Yeah.
Right? I'll be fine. And then, he's lying.
Yeah.
He probably knows he's going to die. And he just runs off. And Grogu, you just see him going with them. You don't see him getting on the ship.
You don't see him getting
He goes out and Mando does this final dash of like, survive, kill as many as you can. You just see him, taking the droids' weapons and trying to shoot them and tussling with them. He gets exhausted. The poison succumbs him. He just passes out.
Yeah. And then you see these like, this is the part, if you're scared of bugs, you probably won't like this part. There's all these like creepy crawlies that end up coming onto his body, slowly starting to take over him.
Yeah.
But then you probably want to, I guess this, that Grogu didn't get on that ship. So Grogu was there. He comes and saves the day. He eats one of the bugs.
Eats one of the bugs that's about to go into the helmet.
Yeah.
And now this is the beautiful part where, Grogu is now the main POV. This is the viewers are now watching Grogu react to the situation and take lead, and just trying to shake Mando, and Mando is unresponsive. He's just breathing very, very lightly, shallow breaths. He's poisoned. He's about to die. So Grogu doesn't know what to do. He just takes first things first, the droids are looking for where Mando is. So Grogu just covers him up with leaves. Smart kid, right? Hides. He camouflages because he's green. So they don't see him. The droids don't see him. They move on. All right, now it's survival mode. Grogu's just like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? He just takes him out. He tries to, I think he goes out into the wilderness and he gets some water. He tries to just hide. He puts it into his mask and helps him drink. And the sound design is very clever. They're just showing you that the Mandalorian's still breathing slightly. He's still there. But Grogu's just doing what he can, trying to keep him safe, trying to keep him hot. He starts building this nice little clay hut, like you were saying, like an igloo, mud igloo.
Yeah.
And this is the part where it's like, this is the comedic part of the show where Grogu's personality comes out. He just builds it ahead of where Mandalorian's sleeping, and then he pushes him, force pushes him into it.
Yeah.
But he does it too hard so that his head clunks against the wall.
Yeah. And he repeatedly tries. It's
and he's just repeatedly pushing. Like, dung, dung, and you can just tell, the audience loves this. Like, everyone's laughing.
And then he covers his feet with leaves again.
Covers his feet with leaves. And he's just trying to get him better. Important thing. First thing he does is he heals the wound site using the Force.
Yeah.
So that
which we
tells you,
see him do in season 1, season 2.
I can't remember which. You do see him do it. I can't remember which season you see him do it. Where he actually Force heals.
Yeah. And
that's a very, very... You don't see Force healing until the sequels, really, as an established power. Yeah. But you know that Grogu is strong with the Force. He's strong with the living Force. So I'm not going to get into the details of the Force. But essentially, he's just very able. He goes out into the wilderness, tries to trek and find out, what can I get? What can I do? And you just see him in his own element.
Yeah.
It's actually a beautiful part of the movie where you see him in a swamp area where... We only seen Yoda in a swamp area.
Yeah.
So we assume that's his natural habitat. But we don't know. We're just like, he's in a peaceful habitat.
To not feel out of place. Like, he's not like... You don't ever see him feel like he's in danger. Like, he seems to be under control.
He's not scared. He's not timid. He's cautious. He's got a little walking stick as well, like Yoda.
Yeah, like Yoda.
He just picks it off the ground. It's like he's walking now. He's got his little pauldron.
Yeah.
And then he finds this dude in a swamp who just so happens to be... I don't know how far away, but...
So who is this guy?
He's just a random. He's not, I don't think he's an established character. I don't recognize him anywhere.
And he just lives in this
He's like a dude in a reclined chair in a swamp,
Yeah.
fishing. It just felt like a dude in the country.
So
right?
the Hutts must know that this guy's living in the forest, right?
Maybe it felt like this
Because
area.
that other bounty hunter obviously knew it.
The other bounty hunter makes an appearance, and that what confused me. Like, does this guy? Maybe he's just the bounty hunter knows this dude as a random outskirt person. Like, have you seen? I think he was asking, have you seen the Mandalorian?
Yeah,
right. He's poisoned. Have you seen him? So this guy, you just get to see that information. Grogu comes and steals some of the fish from him once in a while, but he comes back once Mando's not really recovering. And then the bounty hunter comes and talks to this dude, and then he gets to know, okay, I just heard your friend is injured and he's poisoned. He makes some quick concoction with paste and stuff, and give this to your friend.
Yeah.
Why he's helping him, I don't really know. We just get a feeling that maybe this guy wants to see some change, or maybe he wants the Hutts to be defeated or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't really understand what his motivation is.
He does save Grogu from being eaten by a frog.
Yeah. But he doesn't. He's not like a Deus Ex Machina. He just steps in to help. With this poison issue. That's it. Grogu feeds the poison, not the poison. Grogu feeds the antidote to Mando.
Yeah.
And there's a nice little sequence where he just cuddles up in his arms, Mando's arms, while he's sleeping, and just sleeps himself.
Yeah. And he wakes up and
he's good. And they're both back at it now.
Yeah. So he's fine, and then
and
then
they could have ended it there. They could have ended it there, but he's like, well, I'm not going to leave Rodda to suffer a fate.
Yes.
That's not deserving. And now they hatch a plan to be like, we have to get through all that.
He fights a lot of monsters in this.
Fights a lot of monsters. Yeah. There's so
could
many
be called
new species.
Monster Hunter. This movie. There's so many monsters that he fights.
We didn't even mention the gladiator pit fight where they're actually pitting monster after monster after monster to get Rodda. You know where those monsters are from? Do you remember in the original Star Wars they play that little chess game with the holographic monsters?
And Chewie loses, right? He gets
Chewie
angry.
loses. Chewie loses, and it's just like, you better not let him lose. He's gonna rip your arms out. But they're all from that game.
Okay.
That's why they looked really weird. But it's when he picked him up and threw him down, I'm like, that's the same animation. I've seen that somewhere. They just slam the carrier into the hut pit.
Yeah.
Get off, and Mando and Grogu literally just lead a frontal assault.
That's where he poses the question just before that to Grogu, where he's like, we've got two options. We can either flee or we can fight.
Yeah.
And obviously they choose to fight.
But if they flee, the Hutts will constantly chase them. Right? So it's like, well, we never really be safe. So there's really only one option.
Yeah. I guess if they fled, they could have got back up and came back.
They could have recovered.
Yeah.
Right? The point is that I think they're trying to make that, well,
rather than
be on the defensive and always be like, oh, we don't know who's going to attack us, who's going to try and get us.
Yeah.
That bounty hunter's just not going to stop, right? If he gets paid, it'll come. So I think at this point, it's like he's presumed dead. This is the best time to attack.
Yeah.
That's the logic I think they went through. And that worked. They assaulted the place.
Yeah.
They made it right into they had to go through all those guards, and they took out the two massive battle droids as well, the big defending things. It felt like a boss fight, to be honest, like a video game boss fight.
Yeah.
Where you could just see a health bar slowly increase into like the massive width of the TV.
Yeah.
And they took them out, took a lot of effort. Not as much. Funny thing is, I felt like Mando struggled more with the robotic death troopers in season 2 than he did with one of these.
Yeah.
Right?
Like in this movie, the most he struggles with is with that serpent, the water dragon. I think that's where he struggles the most.
Yeah.
The rest of him is kind of okay.
Yeah.
Like
and also the bounty hunter.
Yes. That's when he gets captured.
Yeah.
But then he fights him again shortly after this.
Yeah, in this scene where he goes to the throne room and he encounters the bounty hunter. Grogu frees Rodda, who's he's captured and was being tortured this whole time in the throne room. He frees him.
He makes friends with his dog.
Makes friends. Oh, and makes friends with the bat dog. Because he's got a bat face. So I was thinking of like,
okay.
You know, Cat Dog, the Nickelodeon Cat Dog.
This is a bat dog.
Bat dog. I was thinking that's probably what it is. And he makes friends with him, uses the Force.
Yeah.
But Rodda is the kind of unexpected hero here. He comes in and basically just fights his uncle and auntie.
Yeah.
He basically fights them.
Yeah.
And
pushes them into the pit.
Breaks it down, self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
Grogu for the win, saves Rodda with the Force, lifts him up again. And that's like, you see him lifting a whole, I don't know how heavy your Hutt is, but that's tough.
He looks pretty heavy.
He looks like he's going full Stranger Things L. So he's just going like,
that's the thing with Grogu's powers.
Yeah.
they're very selective on when he uses them. Like, I feel like he's done stuff in the series that is probably more powerful than what he has done in this movie.
Oh, yeah. True. Season 3, he basically creates a shield to prevent an entire explosion from affecting
so he's
Bo-Katan
done like some pretty crazy stuff. But like in this, I don't know, like there's parts where it could have been useful if he maybe used his powers a bit more.
Could have been useful. I feel like they were careful when they used it, just so not to become another like, Grogu can save whatever situation they're in.
And I guess in the show, it kind of does become like, oh, Grogu's gonna save the day again, isn't he? Like he does save Din Djarin quite a few times using his powers. So,
he does. He saves him in season 3 when he's stuck in by another another bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And in this case, I think this was not too bad. This was more Yoda. Like Yoda reference, like Yoda lifting the X-Wing out of the swamp.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said Stranger Things L, because Stranger Things L referenced Star Wars. So this
so
goes back
like
to Yoda.
Reverse.
I've just committed a sin there. I'm sorry. So he's doing a Yoda thing. But look, it's a nice conclusion. The Hutts are basically eaten and killed by the snake dragon.
Yeah.
So now the only Hutt mainly that's left is Rodda. He's the main leader.
Yeah.
So that's all concluded. They fly back. Again, this is like the second successful homecoming. They come home once safe. Now it's the actual homecoming.
And also that bounty hunter is not dead.
Yeah,
he
no,
escapes.
and Enbo escapes. And we know that, okay, well, look, Enbo is not one of these personal grudge guys. He's just like, if he gets paid, he'll do it. And the people who paid him are dead.
So he's like,
there's assuming, there's no reason to believe
he's not like going to keep fighting Mando for no reason, right?
Yeah,
he's not going to get anything out of this.
And there's many other bounty hunters as well. Like we saw, there's so many other bounty hunters that could do this. So right now that line is gone. They're safe. They come back, and this is where it's concluded. It's like, well, the colonel's like, we forgot to mention the colonel comes in with a blue squadron to help with a forward assault to destroy the entire base and get rid of all the
because the little guys go back and they get
Babu Frick's folks go back and they bring the whole host. So they do an assault. They help him. Dave Filoni's in one of the ships and he helps out.
How do you feel about Dave Filoni cameoing in these movies?
Yeah, it's good. We saw.
Some people are really offended by it. They're like, "Why are you cameoing when you're not important enough yet to do that?"
Well, that's a different. Well, no, I think he's deserved. I think he's deserved recognition. You know, he's important, right? He's been storyboarding. He storyboarded Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah. That's how long he's been working in animation. Then he went from that to Clone Wars. So he developed the Clone Wars. He basically made the show what it is, and now Mandalorian, he's behind it. So I think a cameo is exactly what it is. It's just a passive role. He's got a couple of lines.
Yeah, like it doesn't really say much. But I think people are like, I don't know. Maybe they're looking at like Stan Lee and like, Stan Lee's the founder of
Stan Lee was more. It's like he's actually got a nice joke or something. He's just Dave is just in the background wearing his hat. He's wearing his cowboy hat and stuff. Yeah.
He wears a hat normally, doesn't he? That's his look.
Yeah, that's his look. Yeah, no, he was there in season 3 of in Ahsoka season 2. He was there as a cameo in the military bar where all the pilots are hanging out.
Yeah, okay.
So he's there. There's like a recurring theme.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
So I think sometimes these Star Wars fans, they just need to calm down a bit. Like this stuff's not that important.
You guys are worrying about the wrong stuff. That's like the last thing to be worried about, right?
Yeah.
Start talking about Last Jedi. No, I'm just kidding. That's for another time.
Yeah.
So the movie essentially concludes at that point.
Yeah.
And
there's no post-credit scene.
No post-credit scene. It's a very nice. They just get in the ship, and Rodda's now free. He joins the Resistance.
Yeah.
Not the Resistance yet. The New Republic.
Yeah.
And Zeb is like, oh, I'll get you.
I would like to see what uniform fits him though, because they say there's
Zeb's line is very interesting. He's like, I think I have a uniform that fits, and I'm trying to think. Is he referring to another character that's huge, that has like a uniform that? No, because I don't think any of the uniform is made for a Hutt.
Yeah, no way. Unless there was a Hutt previously.
I can't think of anyone in Rebels. I'm just trying to remember if that's a reference to someone else. I don't know. But and
they're also a very distinct shape, right? They're not like humans. So.
Well, and Rodda's like jacked, so he's huge. But it's a nice ending. Everything confirms. And Sigourney Weaver's dialogues were surprisingly flat delivery in this film. Like the last thing she says
was a bit wasted. Like I don't know if it's her or like the way they used her, but she was kind of wasted in her role. Like it could have been anyone really. It didn't have to be her.
But even Sigourney Weaver's very expressive in this one. It's like the last line between her and Mando's like, you know me, I'm an independent contractor. I'm not really loyal.
Yeah,
to the
and
resistance.
she's
And she's
like,
like,
sure.
sure you are.
Yeah.
Sure you are, Mando. And she just walks
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
But not even with that expression. She's like, sure you are.
Yeah.
Sure you are, Mando. And she just walks.
Yeah.
And Grogu's like giving her the full salute. That was funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And they go off into hyperspace, and that's the end credits.
Yep.
So that's what I mean by like, you're not really missing out on anything that is not introduced
No.
in the movie itself, right?
I mean, it's a fun side quest where they fight some monsters, they come out alive, but like at the end of the day, nothing really that consequential happens. Also, the guy that they catch, the Imperial dude, like he's just a guy.
Yeah, he's
like,
just a guy. Oh, he's not like a big
he's
guy.
not some important character. Like he's just some guy.
He's some guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This might as well have been like a video game, like cinematically styled video game, like Jedi Survivor. Have you played Jedi Survivor?
No.
Right. So there's nothing in Jedi Survivor that's so consequential that I'd tell Sravan, you have to play this game. It's an amazing game. And it has like High Republic stuff. There's like a Jedi brought out of stasis and he's like 1,000 years old and stuff. But that's what this is. It's just like a self-contained adventure, perfect for video game format. And I feel like they use a lot of those references as well, like side questing and, upskilling and managing. The second arc with Grogu by himself, that felt a lot like The Last of Us with Ellie going on a little quest after Joel gets like mortally wounded.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Like, I don't know if you've played the game, but there's a part where you control her. But most of the game, you're controlling Joel.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why this feels like a video game. Maybe someone tried it.
And
Disney, if you're listening, please make a video game with Mando and Grogu, right? I would play the shit out of it.
In the show Last of Us, Pedro Pascal plays.
I did not make that connection until now. That's okay. I'm gonna look at the showrunners and see if there's any crossover because that's I didn't even realize that connection until you said it. Cool. All right. So that means there's a link between The Last of Us and the Star Wars franchise.
But to be fair, Pedro Pascal's in a lot of things these days.
No,
so,
he is. He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. If you take both of them, Mandalorian and Grogu at the start of this movie and at the end of this movie, they haven't changed that much.
Yeah.
Like they were already close. It's not like this made them closer or something.
Right.
Like
no new powers unlocked or
Like it's not like their relationship was further developed or anything like that. They were already really close at the start of the movie. They're still close at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
so
true.
Like,
we know that Grogu's more capable. He's more independent. He's got a personality. Mando's now more proud of his son. Yeah. Right? And he's got a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nothing major.
Yeah.
Nothing significant. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else before we close on spoilers?
I reckon the IMAX version is enhanced in some action scenes. It's not essential to watch in IMAX by any means. You can watch it in regular theater. That's fine.
Same with the 3D. I think the 3D enhances some scenes, but like it's not mandatory.
Oh, it's not essential. Yeah.
It's same with the IMAX. So I think you could comfortably watch this on a normal screen or on streaming when it comes out. I think either way, it's not going to change your experience.
Yeah, sure. And look, if you want to wait till streaming, that sends a message to Disney saying, you know what, bring these out on streaming. That's fine. People watch it.
Yeah.
Right. But
well, when you think about it, it's either you pay for streaming, you pay for Disney Plus subscription, and you watch Mandalorian on that, or you go to the cinema and you pay tickets to watch this movie. So like,
I would always prefer the cinematic experience because that's an isolated experience.
Correct.
The moment you start making TV shows and movies for streaming, they make dialogues for people who don't pay attention. Right?
Yes, that's right.
And you get things like repeated plot points consistently, which happened a little bit in this film. I was a bit confused, like why people are saying the same thing twice, thrice.
In
right?
case, yeah.
Which is known as the, what is it called? Double screening dialogue. So you got to be like, no, I'm going to this house for this reason. And then 10 minutes later, no, remember how I said I was going to this house for this reason?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's why I'm doing this, to get that
I
thing.
think some of Sigourney Weaver's dialogue's a bit like that because she does say a couple of things a couple of times.
Rotta the Hutt had something like that saying, why are you telling me so many times you don't want to be like your dad? Once is enough, buddy. It's fine. We get it. We're good.
Yeah, he really pushes that point.
Yeah. Thankfully, most Disney stuff is immune from this like dumb dialogue stuff.
I would say the Mandalorian, the series.
Yeah,
there's not too much of that. Like there's
they're doing a really good job in terms of setting the dialogue. I only see it in Netflix really.
Yeah,
where they're doing like really or Paramount or something where the dialogue's really hard to follow. I really do hope they do. This is my hope for it and my expectations for what this should have been and what it could have been. I hope they bring in the Ahsoka storyline of Thrawn, Mortis, what's going to happen with the Jedi coming up into the new era, right? What's going to happen with the threads of the Empire or the heir to the Empire, Timothy Zahn reference, to all of the new forces that are coming in, right? They went to a new galaxy in season 1 in Ahsoka. That's huge. That's huge. That's like, okay, they've never done this before, level territory. So I want a movie that actually ties up those story points. I reckon Mando might just be one of those supporting characters in that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do a main storyline with Mando unless it's essential. We won't do a State of Star Wars again. Just doing the State of Mandalorian Grogu, which is
which is okay.
It's okay.
It's not bad.
It's not a bad time, but it's not. Look, it's a good film. It's just not needed. It's not the film that we need right now.
So the film, looking forward though, the film that we may need, this film that Star Wars may need is Starfighter.
Starfighter,
which is coming out next year.
Yep.
Directed by Sean Levy, who directed Deadpool and Wolverine and a bunch of other movies.
Nice.
So people are a little bit more optimistic about that. It's got Ryan Gosling in it.
Cool.
So that's slated to come out next year.
Nice.
Other things that are coming up next year. So it is the 50th anniversary of Star Wars: A New Hope.
No way, 1977. Yeah.
So next year will be the 50th anniversary. So they are doing a theatrical re-release of the original Star Wars film.
I wonder if they're going to do more enhancements.
I hope not. I hope they release the original.
The original cut?
Untouched.
It's rough.
Yeah.
I remember it as a kid. I think I saw one version. It's rough. It's really bad. Jabba the Hutt does not look good. None of the dances look good. Even some of the ships are okay, but yeah, it's rough. I get what he wanted to do, the changes. I just don't like them adding vocals to Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You know? I don't like that. Keep him silent, man.
And didn't they insert Hayden Christensen as the ghost?
They shouldn't have replaced the original ghost actor because he deserves his chops in the film. Why do you want to replace that with the young version of Darth Vader?
It also doesn't make sense because doesn't the ghost look like them when they died, not like when they were young?
Yeah, I think the reason why George did that was because Anakin Skywalker technically did die when Darth Vader took over.
Oh,
technically, in the lore, but still, it's like, well, you can't show him as an old man. Return of the Jedi, where he takes his mask off. You see him as an old man, scarred.
Yeah.
You can't then show Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Let's keep the actor. Why would you change that?
Luke wouldn't even recognize him as like Hayden Christensen. Like he's seen him as the older actor, right? So,
right. Yeah, it's just like I feel like you don't lose anything by keeping the original. You can still reinterpret the prequels. Yeah. But that's why everyone is pissed off at George Lucas for touching the original material too much.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess he couldn't help himself, but
couldn't help himself, and he lost the fans, and he sold it to Disney, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Now we got Mandalorian on. If he didn't do what he did, if George Lucas didn't do what he did, we wouldn't have Mandalorians on mugs right now.
Yeah.
With baby Yodas. Imagine taking this back to 1977 and showing people. They'd lose their minds.
Yeah. They would.
They'd be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Why is Yoda working with Boba Fett? What is this?
What's this crazy fan fiction that you've created?
Yeah.
So like you said, Ahsoka season 2 is coming out next year.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Maul, Shadow Lord season 2.
That's out now. First episode is free to watch on YouTube. Just there. You can go watch it. No ads. Yeah. It's all fine. But that's a really cool project.
That's what's coming up.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be good to end this episode with a this or that, where I will go through everything that's been released post Disney acquiring Star Wars.
Yeah.
And you tell me which one's better.
Okay.
And we'll obviously end with what you think is the best one.
Oh, okay.
That's come out. So
okay, I know where this is going. All right, cool. Yeah.
So let's start with, and it's not in release order. It's not in any particular order. Yep. So Rogue One or The Acolyte.
This is an easy one. Rogue One.
Yeah.
Gareth Edwards all the way.
So Rogue One or Mandalorian season 2?
Oh, that's tough. Mandalorian season 2.
Okay. Yeah. Mandalorian season 2 or The Last Jedi?
Yeah, Mandalorian season 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 2 or Skeleton Crew?
Oh, Mandalorian season 2. Yep.
Okay.
Skeleton Crew is really good, by the way. Please watch it. It's nice. It's good. I love it. Not as good as Mandalorian though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Mandalorian season 2 or Andor season 1?
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Andor season 1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's different. That is a breath of fresh air. That show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was season 1 was life-changing to watch that one. That was ridiculous. It was so good.
Yes. And we still need to talk about that. So we will have an episode on Andor at some stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Season 1 and season 2. I feel like season 2 needs its own episode, to be honest.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do one for each season.
We'll try.
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah.
But take this praise as a incentive to go and watch that show. If you haven't seen Andor, go watch Andor. Yeah. You don't need to know anything about Star Wars, to be honest. Just go watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Andor season 1 or The Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, see Andor season 1.
Yeah. Andor season 1 or Mandalorian season 1?
Now we're coming back to Mandalorian. Okay. Mandalorian season 1 for one main reason, because that was the foundation for Andor to come. Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, if you don't have Mandalorian season 1, you don't have Andor. You have to go Mandalorian season 1. That was quite a big shift in the way things. And I love the Mandalorian season 1. I think my reception to it was much more stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it should get a bit of credit because it was the first Star Wars thing that came out after Rise of Skywalker. And people were not happy with Rise of Skywalker or that trilogy in general.
Nope.
It won the fans back.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah. The confidence was in a really bad place for a lot of years. And Dave Filoni just found like lightning in a bottle and realized what people want to see more of.
Yeah.
Right. And that worked really well. So it's quintessential Star Wars.
Yes.
Mandalorian season 1.
So Mandalorian season 1 or Solo, a Star Wars story?
Yeah, Mandalorian season 1.
Yeah.
Solo, I feel like I got a controversial take. The Solo didn't need to happen. A lot of the story was in context and you could infer it based on everything that happened in between the original movies. So I feel like if you take that movie out, nothing new is introduced other than the dynamics between the characters and some additional tales and stories and stuff.
Yes.
No offense to any of the actors who did that stuff. It's just that a lot of people thought the story, the backstory as it existed in terms of like, things that you heard or dialogue in the original films, just like placing the character story and world building. It's exposition of the original films made into a movie. So yeah, long story short, Mando season 1.
Yes. So Mando season 1 or Ahsoka season 1?
Mando season 1. Ahsoka season 1 is amazing, but there's a lot of referential stuff. You need to watch Rebels to understand it. Mando, don't need to watch much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mando season 1 or The Force Awakens?
Oh, that's good. A movie versus a TV show. Okay, this one I think Force Awakens, the first time I watched it, experience-wise, it was wonderfully like ambitious. Everything that a Star Wars fan wants to see, right? New villain, new Jedi, new establishments. Let me go Force Awakens because I feel like what it started off as, J.J. Abrams and his storytelling, they had really high ambitions and there was no depression yet about what was going to happen. There was only optimism.
Yeah.
Right? Same way Mandalorian started, there was only optimism where we just come up a big crash. So let me say The Force Awakens as a movie was much more of a memorable moment. So I'll go with it for now. I'll humor you guys. I'll say Force Awakens. Yeah.
So Force Awakens or The Bad Batch?
Wow. You can do that to me, huh? Okay. All right. Bad Batch, not the Clone Wars, right? So
just the Bad Batch.
Just the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Okay. I say Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Force Awakens for this one. Yeah. Bad Batch is, okay. It's
so
good.
Force Awakens or Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show?
Ooh. Okay, now you're getting somewhere. I'm going to be all over the place with this one. But Obi-Wan the show is a spiritual successor to Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, I've got to go Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor, back. Hayden Christensen, back. I can't ignore that. Yeah, that's huge. That's OG. Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi or Mandalorian Season 3?
Oh, Mandalorian Season 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Season 3 is very polished. Obi-Wan Season 1 was good. It wasn't nearly as polished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I could see where the production
season
value...
3 you'd put above other seasons of Mandalorian.
Season 3 I would put above... Season 3 I would put on par with Season 2.
Yeah.
Right? It's a little bit better because of it goes back to Mandalore and it does a lot of thread tying. So it ties up a lot of threads. It has a wonderful conclusion, amazing action. But the reason why I put it above Obi-Wan is because it has much more production value. It's got a little bit more consistent character storytelling. Obi-Wan was great, except for a big weakness in the story about the antagonist. Right? The antagonist did not make me convinced that that person was convinced of their own storytelling or their own arc or their own purpose. So, yeah Obi-Wan was good. And that's why I say that has much more impact of Force Awakens. I would put season 3 of Mandalorian above Force Awakens as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mando season 3 or Andor season 2?
Andor season 2. Andor season 2 it's a zeitgeist. It's still there. I can still feel the buzz from it, from like what people are talking about. It's unbelievably amazing. It's so good.
We might have a winner, but let's see. There's 2 left.
Okay.
I think Andor season 2 or Book of Boba Fett?
Okay, Andor season 2. Yeah. Book of Boba Fett is controversial. It's good, but it doesn't really know what it is identity-wise. Yeah, Andor season 2. Much more well defined and well done.
Yeah. And the last one, Andor season 2 or this movie, Mandalorian Grogu?
Oh, yeah. Andor season 2, I think, because it's hard to it's 10 hours of TV compared to 2 hours. But this characters and the storytelling, everything, if I just go in terms of the quality of storytelling, there was so much more at stake. And that's hilarious to say because Mandalorian and Grogu is a new story at the most recent tail end of a chronological series. So there should be more stake. I felt more stake with Andor season 2, a story that takes place in between 2 eras, right? Where we know, literally before Rogue One, we know he's going to die in Rogue One.
Yeah.
I still felt more stake for the characters.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a lot of characters that are like, inconsequential, but they actually impact his life and they go off and do other things. That's an achievement.
Yeah.
To make a story that takes place before a movie, Rogue One, and still make us care about the characters.
Yeah.
That is huge. Yeah.
Well, that's it. So the best Star Wars thing that's come out since Disney has acquired Star Wars is Andor season 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
And good thing you didn't ask me Clone Wars because I would have put that up way too high than it deserves to be.
So,
Andor season 2, people. That's my recommendation. Go watch.
Let us know your ranking, but I think that's fair though. I think Andor season 2, like genuinely, I think it's what people say is the best thing that has come out
in recent times. Yeah, and people in the comments, please crucify me. Right? I know I've made some really controversial comparisons there, but if I said something that is like clearly bush, like how could you choose? Season 3 of Mandalorian over The Force Awakens? Or how could I choose Force Awakens over something else? Please let me have it. Let me have it. I will probably agree with you when I read the comments. My mind changes. I'm like, I will sleep and I'll read the comments like, yeah, this guy's probably right or she's probably right. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I've had too much blue milk today.
To be fair, you didn't pick Last Jedi over anything, so there's nothing to argue there.
Okay, well, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. That's something I did, right? Yeah. That's cool. Well, thanks for joining us, folks.
Yes, that was a great episode. Thanks for coming on, Bhaskar. As always, great discussion.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Always in depth and always very insightful, the discussions we have on Star Wars. So we'll definitely get you back on for another episode. Maybe we'll get you on for something that's not Star Wars for a change.
For a change? Well. I don't mind. Anything's fine. Yeah, Star Trek. No. You got to tell me what you're going to do with the new fortune with all this salt. What are you going to invest in? What little country are you going to buy?
Maybe I'll make a Star Wars movie. I'll invest into Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of places there.
Yeah.
But no, thanks for having me on.
No
problem. You can get in touch with the show through email. What is the email again?
Yes, Cognitive Recalibration Podcast at gmail.com. We're on Instagram, Cognitive Recalibration. We're on TikTok, C Recal, I think. So
and
give
YouTube,
us a follow.
Obviously.
Yeah. Obviously, contact us on YouTube. Just give us a comment. And
give us a comment. Hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment. That gets always views and share, man.
Yeah.
Part of the conversation. That's what drives all this discussion about movies and film, especially Star Wars. Go out and see the movie if you haven't seen it. And let us know what you think.
Yes, definitely. So thanks for spending part of your day with us. Hope you enjoyed the episode and may the Force be with you.
And this is the way.